Hey everybody, Joe Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Wednesday, and lots going on right now. Apparently, there has been there are protesters that have broken into the U.S. Capitol and the Capitol Police. So I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I'm going to try to go through the show and see how it affects the market, as it were. The slides that I have today, of course, were just a few minutes ago. Just kind of want to briefly go through those and then possibly get to questions. But very interesting day out there, to say the least. So, just here it is. The market direction is basically, we're still in an upward trend. That's looking good. There was earlier this morning, Tesla was moving very strongly. It's pulled back a little bit from where it was, but it seems to be very strong still. And I just kind of wanted to show you the chart on that. I increased a position on Tesla today. Maybe I may have come in too early. I don't know. But definitely want to show you that. And also, I moved into Freeport McMoran, which is a gold miner. And of course, everybody knows that I've been in GBTC, which is the Bitcoin Trust, which I do think is going to be, it's probably going to move strongly based on this news in Washington. So there is some political issues, and so these are very, very hard times to figure out. What I would recommend is making sure that you have everything stopped out, because we may get a pullback in the market. Just don't know what's going to go on here. Political events can move markets, so be very careful about this. Here is the NASDAQ composite. This was taken earlier today, and it is, it's basically moved up well off the 21-day moving average. It's above the 10-day, and it is up, at least it was up strongly this morning. Now, I do believe that we are going to see a little bit of a pullback on the NASDAQ. It seems as if I was stopped out of Apple this morning, and it seems like there's a rotation out of some of those stocks. So, with this news, I just don't know exactly how that is gonna play out. Wanted to give you an idea on the S&P 500. It definitely is also pushed up nicely. And this one, of course, this is where Tesla went in to the S&P. So this is significant. The volume's down a little bit, but it is up overall about $53. Kind of a harbinger possibly of good times coming, but you just don't know with the political situation the way it's at. And most importantly, there has been a movement, and this is very interesting, into the Dow. The Dow stocks have benefited somewhat, and I suspect that's based on the fact that it looks as if with the runoff election in Georgia, that the Democrats will control the House, and they will probably be they're probably the only thing that can be agreed on will be infrastructure spending. So some of the big industrials may benefit from that. We just don't know, but there has been a movement into the Dow Jones, and it's still above the very key level, the key 30,000 level. So as long as it stays above there, I think we're good. It's still not time to to look at a downturn. We just don't know what's going to go on, but I just want to be, careful about that. Just want to show you there. Interestingly enough, as of all of this, I have 6 stocks today that are breaking out that you might want to put down on your list, because I do think that they are significant in terms of the breakouts. Medfast, symbol MED, it's up about $19 today, which is tremendous. Of course, this is the diet company, done very, very well. And the volume is up too. So this is a definite breakout at 218.51. Corvo, this is a 5G stock that has been kind of in the wait. It's breaking out today too. It's up $3.84, or about a 2% rise. A stock called Home Street, HMST. Don't know much about this stock. Digi International, this is a company that makes networking equipment, very strong too. It's DGII on that. Hologic, this one was pounced and ready to go, HOLX, and also Rent-A-Center, RCII. And of course, these are the stocks that are breaking out today. You might want to take a look at the charts on these. Of course, the symbols are MED, MED, Qorvo, QRVO, HMST, that's Home Street Incorporated, DGII, Digi International Incorporated, Whole Logic, HOLX, and RCII, that's Rent-A-Center, and actually that's based right here in Dallas, Texas. So kind of interesting, little fun fact there on that. Here is my current holdings as of right now. This is where I have, these are the stocks that I have currently. Blink Charging, BLNK. Of course, this provides charging stations for electric vehicles, not necessarily Teslas, but the other ones that are coming out from manufacturers such as Nissan, GM, and the like. They don't have a charging network like Tesla has with their superchargers, but interesting stock, $40.58. I do have a call on this one at 35. Progeny, this is the interesting in vitro fertilization insurance company, PGNY. It's up today nicely. Also, I've seen a lot of good movement on Greystone Bitcoin Trust, that's GBTC, and this is sort of a little bit of a play relative to kind of where I think that we might be a little bit of instability in the market. I've been building a position in this one. It's up significantly, 8% today, and overall in the last few weeks it's up almost 40%. So you might want to take a look at this one, GBTC. I think it may still have some legs. This is also an ETF. Tesla, of course, I did increase my position a little bit today on Tesla, both in the small portfolio as well as some of my other portfolios that I handle. FCX, this is one of the largest gold miners in the world, and I do believe that we may be coming into some political instability here. So that's one of the reasons why I think that one might be a decent play. Just kind of, it's difficult to figure it out, exactly where it's going to go. So I think the most important thing is to make sure that you have your stop losses in there, and that you are, you're basically, you've basically moved into that. It's just kind of chaotic. I just want to show you a live feed that I'm getting off right now off of Citizens Free Press. This is a live feed coming from DC. I think I could put the sound on here. Yeah, there we go. And I don't know if they're saying anything here, but very interesting. And by the way, if you're looking on TikTok, I'm broadcasting live also on YouTube at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So I'm going to also go there. I have a question from TikTok. Can you repeat the stock for 5G? That is Qorvo, QRVO. So kind of interesting. Apparently they're breaking down 4 letters of security. So we may be in a situation here where we do have a situation where we might have some movement in the we might have some, this might affect the market a little bit. So just wanted to bring that to your attention before we get into the questions. And thanks for holding here. Appreciate it very, very much. Let's see. The first question is from Lucio. Thoughts on MGA? Let's take a look at MGA real quickly. Let's see what we've got on MGA. See if I can give you a good MGA, good read on that one. And here we go, Magna. Okay, Magna's an interesting company. I know a little bit about this company. Of course, this is in the vehicle space as well. They are basically a contract manufacturer, similar to Flextronics and companies like that, and Foxconn in the electronic space. But these guys basically are contractors for most of the big 3 automotive makers. And so this is a very interesting play. It's up $2.41 today at 75.21. The question is, and it's got an 86 relative strength. That's very strong for a stock like this. Let's look at the weekly chart to see if the general trend is okay. Yeah, it seems as if it is on a nice movement up, just like it was prior to the from basically March 23rd all the way to today. So the question is, up $4, is it even buyable at this level? Just it's tough to say if that is the case. Let's see if I can get more information. I'll kind of zoom in there a little bit. No spotlight search. Learning all these controls here, so you have to bear with me a little bit on that. Okay, but it definitely is moving up. We do have decreasing sales, though. Not liking that. The number of funds is staying pretty stable. 1348 funds in that stock. Let's look at the checklist. Checklist is 77%, which is good. 7 out of 9 definitely passes in my book. And look at the industry. It is a number 9 out of 197. So that's quite good. The question is, where can we buy this? Do we want to buy this? Where can we buy this if we do want to buy it? It looks as if it is moving right up this 10-day line. I think the key point on this is about 71.28. Currently, it's at 75.17. So it looks like it might move higher. Just can't really tell on this one. I would watch this. I wouldn't buy this. I think it's a little far extended. I think you're going to see a pullback, and I do think it's forming a little bit of a range from about 71 up to about about this level here, which is about 76. So it's sort of in this box. I do think it may hit the top of it may pull through. If it moves above about 76, then I think you could buy it. But other than that, I don't think you want to do that right now. It's a watch list stock. And what do I mean by that when I say, well, you could buy it above a certain price? Well, the way stocks move is they typically move in sort of steps. So we're right below a step that I believe begins for this stock at about 76. So interesting, interesting, good stock. Magna, everything looks quite good on it. You could definitely watch this. I wouldn't buy this one. I'd wait for it to go just a tad higher to see if it confirms at a higher rate. Hi, Jim. Any insights on why the bank financial stocks were on MarketSmith alerts today? Thanks. Wow. Good question. Well, we do have, I believe, coming into it, with probably with the likelihood of the Biden presidency here, we probably are very likely to have increased interest rates. And if we do, that will typically be bullish for some of the financial stocks. I wouldn't jump into the financials right now because I do think that there's a lot of issues there. But we've had very, very low interest rates for so long that many of the bank stocks have been hurt. So I do think that there is a look at potentially increased inflation. That's one of the reasons I have moved a little bit out of kind of into the more defensive areas like GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and also into some of the gold miners, because I do think we're going to see some inflation after a long time. We've had deflation really for the last 20 years, but there may be some inflation around the corner, depending on how much money that they print. Now they're going to print a lot of money coming into this next year, and they're going to give it out, of course, and that was a promise, I think, by Biden. If you elect the senators in Georgia, we'll give you $2,000. I think that was what was the implied thing there. But kind of crazy, I think. But anyways, is what it is. So I do think that money is going to probably find its way into the market, at least in the short term. But I do think that it's going to cause higher prices down the road. So we might want to start shifting our focus from some of the stocks like the tech stocks that benefit greatly from low interest rates to some of the more cyclical stocks, cyclical stocks. Maybe I'm starting to look at the oil patch to see if there's anything there worth doing anything with. So I think we're going to see some inflation, and I think that may be good for the bank stocks, but I just don't really have anything on the bank stocks right now. I'm going to take a quick look at Bank of America BOA. Look at Bank of America really quick to see how it's reacting in real time. So let's take a look at Bank of America. Okay, this is going to be BAC. BAC is the symbol, of course, for Bank of America. There we go, Bank of America. Wow, it has definitely shot up today. So yeah, it's definitely, this is definitely something that is probably of interest. Looking at the weekly chart, as you can see, the general trend has not been that good on the banks, and this is one of the better banks, of course, Money Center Bank. There is a buy point right here at 35. It looks though as if today there was a gap up, and I think that's, yeah, there we go, and that's the gap up right there. So we may, after a dismal time, we may see even some of the financials do well, which would be incredible. They with higher interest rates, they will do very well. So it's definitely moved above this 2901 mark, and that might be, something that we want to possibly take a look at in the financials. And I haven't really done any work on the financials yet. I've been mostly in the mostly in the growth stocks. So I'm going to probably be shifting a little bit on that. So let's take a look. Okay. Hi, Mr. Singh. Thank you. Hi, Jim. Good morning. I hope you can answer my question today. Your thoughts on Run? Bought it today. Hold it. Let's look at Run. The solar stocks have been doing well as well. Wow, look at that. I think you might want to hold that for a while. Look at that. That is just incredible. It is just pulled right above the 82.42. I'm liking that. 80. There's no reason to sell this, Mr. Singh. No reason to sell this. Yeah, solar energy. Okay. We're going to do well. Yeah, solar energy is probably going to do well in the Biden administration. That's for sure. We'll see some solar credits, and we'll probably see some credits for, for Tesla as well. So yeah, I wouldn't sell that one, not with it going up like that, right away. So let's look at Tesla, see how it's trading. It did move up very sharply this morning, and I was wondering why that was happening. I was kind of looking at that. I was going, and my buy enter did kick in. It's at 176. 760 right now. So it definitely is moving well with a lot of volume. So that definitely is, it's definitely one of the stocks. So First Solar, I think, also might be in that category as well. So very interesting on that. So let's take a quick look from TikTok. Thank you for holding. Here I'm going to kind of go back to, here we go. This is a good question. I'm 35% down on Microsoft call. What should I do? Close your position now, Vinny, because I do think that the big cap techs are going to be in a retreat. I sold off. I was stopped out of two of my positions in Apple. I'm out of Apple right now, so I do think that some of the huge big cap techs aren't going to be as strong as they were. I don't think they're going to be as strong as they were. So that's something that we've got to kind of look at. We've kind of look at there. So I'm going to put up some of the questions from TikTok and take a few more of those questions. Why Neo isn't just dropping? Shall I keep it, hold, or sell? Interesting question from TikTok there. Let's take a look at Neo to see what's going on there with with Neo. So let me see if I can get you a quote on Neo. There we go. All right, here's Neo. Let's get there we go. In a Neo. And this is the live chart for Neo. Here we go. Neo. Yeah, it's pulled back significantly today. Look at that. 50. Yeah, it's definitely been pulling down to the 21-day line. It definitely still has a very strong relative strength at 99, but as you can see by the relative strength line, that is pointed down, and there definitely is some selling going on. So if you try not to take more than a 7% loss on this. I don't think you probably are, but definitely set your stop losses. The place I would set my stop loss would be right here at about 44.31. So 44.31 is probably a pretty good place to look at stopping out on Neo. But I do think that it's still holdable. I mean, it's still not changed its overall direction. It's still an upward trend. So But if you do pull back more than about to the 40-day line, I think you definitely want to consider, you're putting your stop loss at that level. Let's look at ALTR and see if I can give you a good read on that one. ALTR, and that is ALTR Engineering, and it's basically a software engineering company. Looks pretty good. Very nice movement up, $1.32 a day, about 2% overall. So it's got a relative strength of 84. Now here's the issue with this one, not really essentially a base to, the last buy point on it was right there on the consolidation base at 44.34. It's at 59.67. So it essentially is pulled up. It looks like there is resistance right here at 60. If you're not in this one already, I wouldn't buy it. You possibly could buy it if it went above 60, but right now I think you're going to have to watch this one because it is a little bit extended from that buy point. I do think that there's another kind of a consolidation point here at about 60. So if it could move beyond that, then I think we might have something there. But right now, I think it's going to be a watch list. Let's look at the weekly chart to kind of get an idea of it, to, kind of get the smell test on it and see how it's doing. 77 is pretty good, 7 out of 9. And this is, of course, ALTR, ALTR Engineering. So I'm liking that. The ownership is good. There's 286 funds in it. That is good, but at only 2% level in terms of the funds are holding 60%. Excuse me, management is holding 2%. So that's definitely good. By the way, everybody, it's the funds that push up the price of the stock. So I like to see that high fund ownership. That means that there is some real conviction in this stock. Also, another nice thing that we have here, of course, is increasing sales. Definitely like that. I mean, sales are more important for a growth stock than actual profits. Profits, of course, are important overall, but the growth stocks is looking at the potential of the stock. So sales are the most important thing. This is positive cash flow, so that's excellent as well. And so it stacks up very, very well. Their estimates on their earnings are going to be about 22 cents for 2021 in the years, and that's basically up 47%. So very strong. Just trying to find a place to buy this, where we could buy this. I don't really see this buyable right now at, I see it really buyable if it moves over $60, but right now I think you're going to have to watch this one. But other than that, it's a very good stock, and it definitely is a good watch list. Let's take a look at TRMB next to see TRMB, and let me get a on that one as well. All right, Trimble Navigation. Wow, this is one of my old-time favorites. I used to live in San Jose, so I know this stock very well. It's an excellent company, excellent management, excellent product group. It did have a flat base second stage buy point at 54.51. Currently, it's at 68.04, up about $1.19, or about 1.8%. So pretty good all the way around. Let's look at the weekly chart. We always kind of want to start with that weekly chart first to get a look at the trend. The trend is definitely up on this one. So, this is a quality stock. We have an 85 relative strength. We have increasing sales, just slightly though, not tremendously, but we have this strong fund buy-in at 1,135 funds in this stock. So all in all, it looks pretty darn good to me. And let's take a quick look at the checklist to see, yes, 8 out of 9, that's really good. An 88% rating on that, so that's really good. The sector is 74 out of 197, so that's very good. It's in the top 40%. Like to see that in this terms of the sector. So everything looks quite good in terms of that. Now, the question is, how can we watch this thing? Can we buy this thing? Unfortunately, there really isn't. It's pretty far extended from its buy point at 54.51. So in order to buy this, we're really going to have to wait probably, and I hate to tell you this, for another pullback. And I would like to see it pull back possibly to about the 10-day line or the 21-day line. It's just not, it's it's going to be more difficult to buy this right now because it's just moving right up this 10-day line, basically in this channel here. So I don't believe it's really buyable until we get a reversal to the 10-day line. So what you're going to have to do on this one, I'm afraid, this one is going to be a watch list too. I want to see this thing pull back to about the to about 64.27. That's where the 21-day exponential line is. And then if it reverses off of that, then I think you might have a really good buy. Right now, I don't think you want to go in. It's a little bit extended. And of course, when you buy them extended, there's a propensity sometimes for them to pull back. It's not necessarily that they're changing direction overall, but that's if you can't buy on a base, a cup with handle, those kind of bases, then your next best choice is probably to buy at the 40-day line or at the 21-day exponential. This is such a powerful stock that probably you're not going to be able to buy this at the 40-day, at least for the near future. That is the proper place probably to buy it, is at the 40-day, but it's really extended above that. So I think that really all you can do with Trimble, symbol TRMB, is to watch this and wait for it to pull back to the 21-day exponential. As I said, the 21-day exponential currently today is at about 64, so it's quite extended above that. It's 68.30, but great stock. Thank you very much for that, and I do like the stock, and I do like the industry that they're in as well. Okay, so this is Keon. Thank you. Should I add to my Tesla position? I'm up 7%. You know what? I did today. So I can't, if you did add to your Tesla position, I couldn't fault you at this point. I think that, with this new Morgan Stanley thing, Morgan Stanley basically is saying that, they're looking at, Morgan Stanley is saying that they're looking at a target price of 810. So that's definitely a lot to go on there. Let's look at the intraday trading on Tesla to kind of see if there's a anywhere we can look at this. This is the 60-minute chart. It's just been going up all day. Look at that. It's just been moving up. Now it seems to have hit a little bit of a resistance. So let's at about this 775 level. So it looks as if that's where the resistance is. It's pulled back. It's below 760. But if you have a good average price in this one, I think that you should be okay. Let's look at the weekly chart to see. Yeah, okay. So yeah, see, we're almost making an all-time high. Unfortunately we're fairly far extended above the 502 buy point. That's kind of where this whole thing kicked off, was about at the 502 level, moving up. So I definitely think you could add to the position. I wouldn't start a new position at this point. I would want to see it go above 775 consistently. But if you're adding to a position, I think you could definitely add to a position on Tesla right now. So that's a great question, and thanks for that. So let's take a look at some of the people that have been calling in from TikTok. Why did Tesla and NIO drop so much today? Well, actually, I don't think they dropped. I don't think they dropped. I think they're going up. As a matter of fact, at least that's what I'm seeing. NIO has pulled back a little bit, but and I think that the Tesla is settling a little bit. But a stock can't go. A stock doesn't go up every day like that. I mean, I think that the real key buy point on Tesla, from my way of looking, there was resistance at about 742, and then it moved beyond that. So it's significantly up from that. It's at 756. Now I did add to my position. I probably added at a little bit of a high price. I added it about at about 765. But I do think with the new, with this call by Morgan Stanley, I think that we might see. We might see it even go higher, because they're saying that they're looking at a target price of about 810 a share. So Pretty good. Stocking up everything. This Capitol Hill mess he's got me. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I think you're right about this on this Capitol Hill thing. It's just crazy. You know, it's just a sort of a crazy deal. You can't figure it out. You know, I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm going to just for fun here. I'm going to see if I can move back to the you know, the live here to see what's going on there. So here we go. On the live, it's interesting. I mean, there seems to be a lot going on here. Just going to show you kind of what I'm seeing on the live, and see if we can get any more information on this. This is just live streams, several different cameras running. Very interesting. Sort of cut again here. So I'm just trying to see as well with everybody else. So it looks like it's pretty crazy out there. I wonder if if called in the National Guard. I'm not sure. Interesting. So, you know, we definitely have you know, a lot going on here. So, just don't know where that will end. It's crazy. So I don't know if I'm seeing. Just look at the indexes here on that. Let me look at those indexes. And then I'm going to switch back to look at the index, see if it's affecting that as we speak. There we go. So we're back there, and we're going to look at I'm just going to see if there's been any movement on the NASDAQ composite as of the last few minutes. So let's see what's happening there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go to the 10-minute chart on the NASDAQ the 10-minute chart series on. Yeah, so it definitely is showing. It's definitely showing up in, but it seems like, yeah, we pulled back strongly. I guess, yeah, this is exactly almost when it started here. This is the beginning of the right here. So it's pulled back. It's definitely pulling the market back. The question is, I mean, is it going to be? So we've got two red bars in a row. Don't know. This is a tough one on how how we could play this one. So, anyways, just for grins, just want to show you that. All right. So let's get back to the questions. How should we react to the riots? Well, here's the thing, Gunnar. I don't think we should react at all. I think what we should do is we should keep our stop losses set tightly, and in that way, I think that, if it does pull back, we're going to be sold out. Just, I wouldn't probably be initiating any new positions until we kind of figure out what's going to go on here. I do think it can drop. I mean, Tesla was up basically at 770, and then these riots have started. It's pulled back about $15. Of course, it's a very volatile stock, so that's not unusual for it, but I think we have to be careful. We have to set our stop losses in there because, we just don't know. We just don't know, and it's really hard to say. Thoughts on SWBI? Let's look at SWBI. SWBI. And see if I can come up. Oh, Smith & Wesson. Good. Yeah, I like that. Look at that. Wow, look at that. Smith & Wesson is spiking big time. Look at that. Very interesting. Wow, it's up $3.55. It's $22.52. You know what? We're right at a buy point. Interesting. A cup second stage, $22.40. It looks like this one might be a winner. This one might be the winner of the day. I'm not currently in Smith & Wesson, but it looks like they're going to do pretty well. And this is in real time. So let's look at the 10-minute chart. Yeah, it's pulled back a little bit. It did spike up to 23, but it's holding steady at 22. So SW, that's a good call. SWBI. Now I normally don't like to trade on the news, but that's just might not be a bad idea. I'm going to try to take a look at it tonight on Smith & Wesson to see kind of what it is, but we'll see. Okay, thoughts on Apple. I was stopped out of Apple at 127.50 today. That was my last position. So I do think it is retreating, unfortunately. I would like to say differently because I had a large position, but yeah, I'm afraid it is. I'm afraid the trend on Apple, at least in the short term, unfortunately it went up. It hit that it hit that buy point, that 137, and it just didn't go past it, and it didn't have enough power, and it's retreating back. So I think what's going to happen is that the next opportunity probably for this, if it continues to the trend that it's continuing, I think it may pull up a little bit to the 21-day line. But I do think that the next time you want to buy this is when it bounces off the 40-day line, and that's about at 122. So, wow, interesting there. Let's look at the monthly chart. Yeah, okay, so it's kind of okay. Weekly chart, okay. You know what? And it lost a percentage. So here's the thing. I think if you're down more than 7% in Apple, I think you might want to sell it and wait for it to pull back to the 40-day line, 121. If it reverses off of that, I think it's a buy. But right now, unfortunately, it had a failed breakout, it looks as if. So this is looking more and more like a failed breakout. And this is true on a lot of the big cap tech stocks. Let's just take a look at Microsoft. Of course, it's symbol MSFT. I want to see if that's, yeah, and that's pulling back too. So I think there's going to be a big sellout from all the big techs. So Microsoft is down, Apple is down. Let's take a look at Amazon to see how that's doing. That should be doing well, better. AMZN. I want to look at Amazon really quickly. Yeah, Amazon is down as well today. So, we're definitely seeing a rotation out of some of the big techs. Let's see if I can find out what is happening with Netflix in FLX. That's the symbol, of course, for Netflix. It's down too. So, yeah, all the fangs are sort of, they're sort of getting out of Dodge, I'm afraid. So right now, it seems as if, we want to be careful in the big cap tech. So we want to be careful in the NVIDIAs and the Apples and the Amazons and even the Googles. So they've run up a lot, but I don't think you want to be starting any new positions in them. It looks as if we're going to get a bout of inflation, possibly. And so if you do have positions and you do have profits in these, probably a good time maybe to trim your holdings a little bit and possibly take profits. But who knows? Who knows about? You can't predict the future. Would you buy Workhorse now? I bought one position Tuesday at 21.90. Let's look at Workhorse. The thing I do kind of like about Workhorse is it's actually sort of a real economy stock. Well, it's pulling up today, so the automobile manufacturers, I'm kind of bullish on because people are going to have to buy cars, and they're going to be electric delivery vehicles built, and Workhorse is big in that. No, I'm seeing a lot of very nice movement on this. It's up $1.22 today, so I see no reason to sell this right now. No, I see no reason to sell this. Even on the weekly chart, we are in a consolidation. The buy point is a first stage consolidation. The pivot on Workhorse is 22.90. So let me put that out there on the chat for everybody that's watching on YouTube. So WKHS, the buy point on that one is equal to 22.90, and that's a first stage. So that's a very powerful base. So I don't see any reason to get rid of it. I don't know if I would increase my position, but I think 21.90 is pretty good. It's at 23.65, so I think Gunnar, I think you want to just push your stop loss up on that one. I think you might have a winner on your hands. I think we're moving out of more of the tech-oriented stocks. I want to kind of look at see what Facebook is doing. Now, Facebook also should be doing well, but it may have pulled back. I just haven't looked at it in a few minutes. Yes, it's pulled back a little bit, but it's still at 260. In the 260 range. So I mean there's Facebook. Let's look at the daily on Facebook. So all the FANGs are pulling back today. Yep, absolutely. And let's look at the QQQ to see. I want to look at first at the QQQ, and then I want to look at the SQQQ, which is the inverse of it. And definitely the QQQ is pulled back. The key level on the QQQ, by the way, I believe is about 305. And currently it's at 307, so it does appear it's pulling back. It does look like the Qs may have changed direction. Let's find out to see if we can possibly make some short-term money with the SQQQ. Absolutely, it's up a little bit, not a lot. So it may not be right. It may not be time for the SQQQ yet, but the SQQQ currently is at 1609. It's up $64. Not $64, excuse me, 64 cents. It would be nice if it was up $64. But there's been a lot of buying. I do think that, depending on how this thing comes out tomorrow, we may see some, we may see some strong buying on the SQQQ tomorrow. But I can't really say anything. I'm going to probably work on an action trade alert. I may be hedging with that as well. The SQQQ, of course, is a hedge. It's an ETF, but it corresponds to the QQQ index, and it runs against that. So it is up today a little bit, about 4%. So I do think with this uncertainty, that will be an issue. All right, let's look at NVIDIA and AMD. But let's first look at NVIDIA, NVDA. This was really an awesome stock last year. I was basically before the flash crash that started in February. I was heavily invested in this at about the 180 level. Boy, I wish I held on to the whole for a while. And when the market moved down, I moved out of it. Unfortunately, it's down today, 504. Here's the thing about the chip stocks. Unfortunately, many of the chip stocks, I think the only ones that are going to do bad, a lot of them have been priced to perfection, and I think that's definitely true with AMD. It's just so you just really can't tell. But I do think that over the last few weeks, we may have seen it. We may see a little bit of a rest here in the text. The AMD, of course, had that double bottom, but it's pulled back to the buy point. So it looks as if, and there's sell on the horizon. If you've got profits in this one, you might want to consider taking them now. Let me see if there's an alternative, kind of if you still want to be in that chip space, but you don't want necessarily to be in like AMD or any of the former leaders. Intel has fallen off the face of the earth, but MU, which has been down for a long time, of course, they're a manufacturer of memory. They should do well in this, but they're down too. So the chips in general have not performed well today. Who knows? I mean, I think that there's going to be a rotation into more of the, into more of the real economy type stocks. That's one of the reasons I purchased Freeport McMoran today, FCX. And I do think there's going to be possibly some more infrastructure spending. So there may be some action in the oils, but right now you just really can't tell. It's just too early to figure that out. This is FCX, which is Freeport McMoran, and of course they're a mining company, and they're worldwide, but they do have operations in the U.S. as well. So they're definitely up $4.14 today at $30.16. So, and with very 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 high, with a very very high percentage up. So, I do think that we're going to see a little bit of a movement out of some of those stocks that were doing so well. it's not that they're going to go away. Apple's not going to shut for business. Microsoft's not going to go out of business. But I just think that I think there's going to be rotation out of some of those stocks, and that might be into things that are more sort of real economy. The kind of the some of the real laggards like oil and mining and that kind of thing. Let me look at FANG, FANG, and this is not FANG stocks. This is Diamondback Energy, and it's up today. This is interesting because this is an oil stock, and it's up very strongly, $7.92 at 56.32. So this is becoming more and more interesting to me. I'm not currently in this stock, but if it moves above 59, I'm pretty interested in it because, as you can see, that was the last high, and I like to buy at higher highs. So this one, I think I'm going to set an alert here on this, on this stock. Let's see if I can do it. It would help if I could do it. There we go. Set an alert, and I basically want to set an alert on FANG for this price here, this 59.89. So I'm going to put that in there. 59.89 is the alert that I want set. Anyways, I do think that we may see some. There may be life in the oil patch yet. So I do think that that we might be ready for a potential potential movement into some of those into some of those areas. All right. So June, hey, thanks for watching. Your thoughts on CYRX and OTRK? I think CYRX, that's also a processor company, I do believe. I haven't. CYRX. Thank you for giving me the right symbol there. Yeah. Cryoport. Cryogenic logistics. Interesting. Okay, well, I don't know anything about this industry. I don't claim to know anything about this industry, but it's definitely up today. Interesting. Let's look at the weekly chart. Let's see. This is sort of a transportation logistics, which is, kind of fits with the real world theme that seems to be happening. There's a 92 relative strength, so that's good. It seems as if there's a consolidation, and that's at 63.36. It's currently at 52.01. Wow, this is interesting. I just don't know how I would go about this one yet. It's going to take me a little bit of study here. So let's see if I can look at it. This is the chart of it on a weekly basis, and it is looking pretty good. I have to say. On the daily's a little bit more choppy, of course. It seems to be holding the 40-day line, which is at 47.69. So that's probably the only place that you could buy it on a reversal. Would be at that at that level. Let's just kind of give it the smell test to see what's going on here. Again, it has this really nice relative strength, so I'm liking that. The ownership is very strong, 309 funds in it, 70% owned by funds, so that's very good. But the checklist is only 5 out of 9, so that's a little bit concerning on where I go. Here's the thing. Based on what I'm seeing here, I wouldn't buy this one. I would watch list it though, because I do think it's in the right area. But again, I just don't think you want to. I just don't think you want to buy this one right now. I think you want to watch list this one. Let it go higher, let it consolidate, and you might have a winner here because it's looking good. It's just not. It's just not at the absolute right level. Now on this other one, On Track. This is interesting. This is an old company. I remember these guys from back in my days at Silicon Valley, On Track. It's got a beautiful relative strength at 96. The thing is, the big cap techs are losing a little bit of favor, but the small cap techs, I still like them in a lot of ways. 96 on the relative strength. We have pulled back. We're pulling back to that 40-day line. Now it does appear that the strength line is moving lower. Just could we buy it at this point? 7 out of 9. That's very, very good. We have 160 funds in it. It's a little bit of a decrease from the last quarter, but still quite good. Let's look at the sector. 45 out of 197, so that's pretty good. On track. Wow. Could I buy this and would I buy this? You know, I would buy this, but I would probably wait until it went to at least 80. Okay, and currently it's at 66. So I would watch this one. I do think there is a formation, a cup with handle formation. The pivot on this one is 78.77. So let me put that out further for the chat. So we're a little bit below that pivot. I still wouldn't buy this one until it went above the pivot. So on track is excuse me, OTRK buy point is equal to, and I'm looking on a cup base, you know, on a cup formation, 78.77 buy point, and that's a cup formation, stage 1. So would I buy that? No, I would not buy this right now. I would wait on this one until it's moved above that 78, and that will probably give you a better result if you buy. I do like the on track. I do like the area. I'm a little bit concerned about the market. I want to kind of see, you know, where we're going. Okay, question on Apple, and that is basically from Alex. Thank you very much. I think that we're going to see a little bit of a pullback in all the fangs. I was looking earlier at the fangs, and it looks as if, to me, that they're going to be pulling back a little bit. Not, you know, Apple's not going out of business anytime soon, but I was stopped out of my three positions in Apple, 2 yesterday, 1 today. So I'm gonna sort of take my marbles and go home and look for something else right now. So I'm not going to be going into Apple. I thought I thought it was reversing nicely and going to go above that 137 buy point, but it didn't do it. So so you know, I was wrong, but I cut my losses, and then hopefully I will fight a different newer day. Let's look at TAN, and this is a question from CD8K. So let's look at TAN. TAN is the symbol. And there we go. That's Invesco Solar. Boy, I tell you, the solar companies probably are going to do very well. You know, are going to do very, very well. And we have, is this an ETF? Yeah, it's an ETF. So, you know, I really like the Invesco products. They're quality all the way. And, you know, it's one of my faves. So, this would be a very good way to play the solar. Display the solar game rather than individual stocks, because there are a lot of small players in this. Up $12.57 today. Wow, that's incredible. 97 relative strength. Wow, that's really good. Look at that, nice volume. You know, let's look at the checklist. 7 out of 9, and for an ETF, that's terrific. By the way, on the checklist for the ETFs, you don't have to have 9 out of 9, 7 out of 9, even 6 out of 9. 4 out of 9 on an ETF is very, very good, because, of course, they're not just one stock. They're a basket of stocks. Yeah, I like this one all the way around. The question is there a place to buy it? Now, ETFs are different than stocks in that you want to buy a stock at a higher high. An ETF, it's okay to buy it when it pulls back. When it pulls back, but it's definitely pulled up today. So, you know, I think you could buy it at this level. I like this Invesco Solar out of the ones that you have been. I think it's a very good one. So definitely, I'm not in it currently, but you know, it looks to be a very, very good one as well. All right, so question on LAZR, laser. I don't know this one. LAZR is the symbol. Oh, look at that. It's interesting stock. Okay. Let's kind of bring up the chart here and take a look. First of all, at the weekly. We want to always start with the weekly chart when we start to look at it. Wow, look at that. Okay. So it does have the right direction, which is up. I'd like to see that. Now, it looks as if we have some kind of a consolidation here. It's currently 97. The only thing I don't like about this is this relative strength line is pointing down. I don't typically like to buy when it's pointing down, but other than that, it looks pretty good. There was a large sell-off here basically back in December, about December 15th. I don't quite know why that was the case there. Let's look at the daily chart. Yeah, it looks like it just bounced right off this 21-day moving average. On yesterday, well, on Monday it pulled back below the 10-day line, and then, it broke through the 10-day line, and then and then on Tuesday, yesterday, it broke through the 21-day. But now this is a classic reversal. As you can see, it kind of goes down, bounces, and it comes back up. So, can you buy this? You know what? This might be good. If you're willing to be careful, you could buy this. This is a reversal. I think you could buy this and hold it up to about 40. I think there might be 10 points in there, potentially. Maybe not quite that. More likely, it may bounce up to about 36 and then reverse again. So it does look like it is in sort of a box area, and that's from here to about here. Looks like the box, and it looks like it has come up and then moved back down, and now it's moving back up. So it does appear that if you got into this, you could probably ride this from about 31 up to about 36. So that's looking pretty excellent. Yeah, I definitely like that one. Here's the thing: I don't think this is a long-term hold unless it moves above 36. But you might be able to get a bounce. It looks like it's reversed, and might be a good play. Might be a very good play. Did you beat the market in 2020? Yes, I did. I did fairly well. I did fairly well. I made about 2% a week, 2 to 3% a week. So, and you can do that if you're a momentum trader. Now, this 2020 was a very, very good year, and a lot of good stuff happened. So, is it going to be that strong this next year? I don't know. It's hard to say. Fortunately, I was able to get in. I was able to get all into cash in February. Then I shorted the market down for the flash crash, and then when it turned, I started buying Tesla. So it was a pretty good year for me overall. So it could be as good a year next year, but I just can't say. But thank you very much for watching. I appreciate that very, very much. Okay, Bio Day today. Interesting. I don't know about that. What about Chinese EV stocks? Chinese EV stocks, I have been in and out of NIO. It's the only one that I've been in and out of. I'm not an expert on them by any stretch of the imagination, but I think if you're going to do the Chinese one, I think that you probably want to go with the more quality ones. NIO seems to be the best name. It's pulling back today. It's down $2.40, but it could rocket up again. I'm mostly been in Tesla, to be honest with you. Because that one has performed, again, very, very well. Now it's pulled back a little bit. It's at 755 right now. It was up at 770 today, but Tesla was. So, but with the Chinese EV stocks, I think that you may want to stake probably to NIO. I think that's probably your best bet there. But it's pulling back today. It's pulling back today. So. Anyways, okay, let's see if we can find a buy point. Thanks for on SKLZ. Let's see if there's a buy point on that one that we could find. SKLZ. And I'm going to look at that one real quick. Oh, yeah, Skills, a blank check company. No buy point. When it's a blank, I just have to kind of reiterate this. I didn't know the symbol. When it's a blank check company, as you can see, blank check company formed to acquire or merge with one or more target businesses. Well, that's pretty vague. I mean, so there's really no buy point on a blank check company. Here's my advice on that. You can make money in blank check companies. Absolutely you can, but I don't like to play them. And the reason I don't is because it's sort of like they're putting money into a pot, and then they're going to go out and they're going to buy some business, and they're going to put it on the exchange, which is great. The only thing is I kind of want to know more about the business that they're going to buy. And that's not the case here. So I don't think that you want to buy a blank check company. You want to wait until it's been an IPO for maybe at least 3 months, and then comes out of what they call an IPO base, and then I think that you can get an idea of at least using some of the charts to possibly buy it. So that's my 2 cents on that's my 2 cents on blank check companies. All right. Okay. So, hey, excellent. Tesla has been a monster, and it may continue to be a monster. Now it's pulled back a little bit. Currently, it's at 755, but the key level that it just surpassed today, I believe, was about 742, and because it went beyond that, now we'll see where it settles. We still have a few minutes. I think trading has ended today, but I think that if it moves above that 742 level, I think we could see it move all the way up. Now, Morgan Stanley did put out did put out some information on it today. They raised their target to 810. So terrific. Just make sure that you keep some of your money. Don't round trip it. So definitely one of the things to do when you have a super winner like Tesla is that you want to keep pushing up that stop loss, maybe not selling out all of your shares, but taking your profits as it moves higher, because you just don't want to round trip any of the money. But I do believe Tesla is sort of a revolutionary company, and it may change a lot of things. So very exciting. Okay, let's look at AI. Let me look at the chart on this one. AI, I think that's right. AI, did I get that right? Let's see. Yes, C3 AI. Oh yeah. Okay, cool. And let's analyze that chart together. Okay, let's first go to the weekly chart, and it is essentially an IPO. As you can see, it's only been, this is the weekly chart. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. It really needs to go about 9 weeks to be good, but it's starting to form a little bit of a base. It's got some good things going on. I wouldn't buy it right now, but it's got an RS rating of 80, liking that. As you can see, it came out of the box. This is very typical for an IPO. And then, of course, everybody that was selling it, basically the investment banks, they then closed their book, and then the prices started to move lower. So it's pulled back. I just can't buy this until we're a little bit more into it. Let's look at the daily chart to see kind of if we've got an IPO basis. You can see how it comes up and then it comes down like this. It IPO'd at 142, and currently it's at I'm sorry, it IPO'd at 42. Excuse me. It IPO'd at 42, and it's now 113.40. Here's the thing: I wouldn't buy this thing until it formed a base, and I do believe that is going to be right at about probably right about the $100 level. Let's see if it settles around there and see if we can then get a decent buy point. But that's sort of what's happening. Pulled way up, and then it's going to pull back. So could we buy this right now? Well, I don't think it's a good idea. I think we need to wait at least another month or so, and then we might be able to buy this. But right now on this, I think that you've got to watch this one. It's an interesting company, though, and it has some very good things going on with it, but I don't think you want to buy it right now. It's in a downward trend currently. All right, so let's see. This is probably going to be, Snapchat. Okay. And of course, Snapchat is, used to be called Snapchat. I keep calling it Snapchat, but now it's just Snap, S-N-A-P. And let's look at how it is looking. Well, it's pulled back today, and this is going to be, I'm afraid this is going to be the theme probably. We'll see, what happens, but with this election, I think you're going to see a pullback in a lot of the tech stocks. The reason is because tech stocks typically benefit from very low interest rates. I think interest rates are going up. The reason, there's been a lot of cash that's been pushed into this area. Now, if there's increasing interest rates, the banks are going to be able to be more profitable. I think a lot of this money probably will rotate out of some of the big cap techs. So we got to be careful in this area. We've got to be more selective than we've been in the last about 6 to 9 months, because the interest rates, I do believe, are going to go up, and if they do, that will affect growth stocks tremendously, and it will benefit primarily financials and some of the infrastructure type stocks, some of the miners, and possibly those people. So the Snap, it is pulling back. It's at 20. It's down a little bit today. You know what? It's got just a great relative strength at 98. That's just terrific. But again, it's just, I think, yeah, it's got a short-term pullback, but it seems to be hugging this 21-day line at 49. So if if this thing reverses above this 21-day run, you possibly could buy it at about, if it moves above about 49.50. Currently it's at, well, it is. It's right. It's 49.82. So if it moves above that, then you might be able to buy it. I think that, this may be reversing, but I don't think I would do anything yet today. I'd wait for this to break out. If it does break to the higher side, then you could buy it. But right now, I think you got to watch this one. At least that's my opinion on Snap. So, and I'm currently not in Snap, by the way, as well. Well, it's come to an hour that we've been on, and thank you very, very much for looking. If you want to, I would appreciate it if you're watching on YouTube, if you could go out there and help me out. And what really helps me out, of course, is when you subscribe to YouTube at youtube.com/DallasTradingFloor. And if you're on TikTok, super duper easy. Just go to my profile, hit the link, and you'll be taken directly to kind of a little mini web page, and that'll allow you to see, subscribe to the Action Trade Alerts, where I do some more in depth on how I'm trading certain things as they're coming forward. And also sign up for our Action Trade Alerts, and it's available just by going to my profile, hitting that link, and then first and last name, and of course it's all free. Thanks to everybody. Happy trading, and I will be back tomorrow, and hopefully we'll find out kind of what's going on with this whole political thing. It's just tough. And hopefully I'll get to everybody's questions. I'm sorry I broke in to the show today, just kind of show what's going on in D.C. I just think it was very interesting, and it can affect all of your positions. One thing to do before tonight is make sure that you have stop losses in. I would put them in a lot tighter than you normally do, typically maybe 2.5% below where where the closes are tonight. The reason is that we may have a wicked pullback in the market. Just cannot tell. You definitely want to preserve your capital because there may be a major rotation. Just don't know what's going on, but really tonight it's a good idea to kind of review your stop losses and make sure that they're set pretty tight. Typically, I would think about 2.5 to 5% from where they close tonight, because I do think that we may see some whipsaw action. You just don't want to be caught in a market that moves into a crash. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Just saying it's better to be safe rather than sorry. And until tomorrow, thanks for watching. And the YouTube channel is youtube.com